So today I wanted to talk about being hijacked by the self-centered thought. Just after the Chenrezig retreat that we had a few weeks ago, I had quite a few days of intermittent misery with an old habit energy that came up that kind of took me by surprise. And what was interesting was that I could clearly see two aspects, or what I would phrase from that experience of two enemies that Venerable had taught on during the Chenrezig retreat. And one is just the disadvantages of the self-centered mind in general. But also the lens of lack, or the poverty mind, that is attuned to picking out the things that can go wrong, the things, seeing in situations what I won't want to do, what will go wrong, what affects me, not seeing the beauty and the richness and the wonderful things that are there. So it centered around the lake day. Am I going? So out of something so small and a beautiful invitation from some of our lay supporters, I got into spinning. And I recognized this old habit of doubt around what's the right thing to do. And it comes down to the fact of, how can I eke out the most happiness from this situation? And then spinning because the answer's not clear. So I could see my mind ruminating around questions of, what will I miss if I do this one or that one? What will I have to do if I do this one or that one? And what part of that don't I want to do? And so, because I was quite tired in the lead up to that, and feeling, we've got our organization restructure, new tasks, things I haven't done before, trying to figure out how things slot into the day, and just feeling a bit tight. So the tight mind was there. And so I felt like I needed a rest. So what option of staying home or going to the lake day, where would I get more rest? And if I go, there's about a 2.5 hour car ride, and I've noticed I get quite car sick lately, and so that's not quite so pleasant. But it's also a really nice opportunity to connect with the community, and for some people that I don't cross paths with very often, it's a nice time, to spend, to connect. So then, the car sickness is not such a big deal. But then if I stay home, I might have more time to study, and then I have my computer, more resources, and if I go and I try and study, then I'm being rude. But if I stay home, then will I actually get to rest? Because I might be asked to coordinate offering service that day, because I know that all the offering service coordinators are going that day. So if I stay back, I'm probably going to have to do that. And I don't want to do that. And if I stay, I've already done breakfast dishes, but there's not many people staying back, so now I'm probably going to be asked to do lunch dishes, and that's another hour out of my time. That's half the driving time. I could just see these thoughts come, and I was just miserable, but I didn't have the clarity to say drop it, because my mind was still convinced that there is one option that I can get the most happiness out of this situation. And then my mind also tried to convince me that there's some virtue here as well, because I've got some attachment to food, and if I go and the lovely friends that invite us, they make beautiful food, and we're taught that we should stay away from things that spark our afflictions. So then should I stay home because it's not, stay home and eat leftovers because that's working with my mind better? So my mind was just going all over the place. And I could see quite clearly the holding tightly onto the belief that there's one right thing to do. And I've seen this come up in insignificant situations like this in the grand scheme of things, but also in bigger decisions where kind of like crossroads, where I'm trying to figure out where I want to go in my life. But I feel like there's one right thing to do, and so then I spin because I don't have the self-confidence in myself to feel like I can make the decision without someone else telling me, yes, this is what you should do. And coming to the Abbey was actually one of those situations. And I realized through that I really have to rely on myself and have some confidence in my own wisdom to be able to guide myself through these situations, however small or big. And it was funny as well because in the end I did get told what to do. I mentioned to Venerable Children that I was wavering, and she's like, go, it'll be good. So I was like, okay. And then my mind came back. And this was kind of the point where I got some confidence to say, you need to drop this. Because it came back to, oh, okay, I'm going. But, if I can't sit in the front seat of the car where I'm going to be less likely to get car sick, I'm not going. And as soon as I saw that thought arise, I had to start laughing at myself. Because up to that point, I was taking it so seriously. And causing myself misery, and I think bringing some humor into it provides a lot of relief. And I was actually able to get myself to a point where I went and I had a lovely day, and I connected with people, and I appreciated the situation, and I got to learn a lot about this habit that I hadn't seen it come up for quite a long time, which, whilst painful during those few days, I'm very appreciative of that. And when I was thinking about other situations where this can come in, particularly around the belief that there's a right decision, and trying to eke out the most happiness of a situation as well, was the story just the situation I've heard Venerable relay a lot around going to a restaurant and deciding what food we want to eat. And it's just the time that we can spend just trying to pick out what's going to give us the best buzz or the most sensory pleasure, or the belief that there's one right thing. And I want to try and find those situations where I'm doing that more and more, so I can try and cut the time that I'm wasting on that spinning mind, however small or big. If I can start to pick out the small insignificant situations like what to eat, hopefully I'll get more attuned to cutting that habit on the more important things. And particularly around the aspect of the mind of lack is retraining the mind to focus on beauty. And in that situation, it's like, what can I offer? From this lovely invitation from our lay supporters who want to offer us a rest day and rejoice in our practice, their own practice, our interdependence, our relationship. This spinning mind of mine was so inappropriate and just not in line, not recognizing the great beauty of the situation, that, it's like, may I train my mind to focus on what's important, and to rejoice when there's an opportunity to rejoice and share that with others, and spread beauty and love and compassion and kindness, as opposed to a tight mind that's irritable and moody and not really being of any benefit. So when I or you, I'm not sure how it manifests for you, but when we see that flip-flopping mind, I want to ask myself, where is the self-centered mind here? And what lens am I looking through this situation with? Is it where I'm rejoicing in the kindness of others and the opportunity to be of benefit? Or is it one where I'm just looking at where things could go wrong, what I might have to do that I don't want to do, and things like that? So may we have a mind that takes delight in virtue and in self and others. And I think for myself, just when I see the flip-flopping mind, just to say, drop it. Because I was thinking of when I next see this, what can I do? And I let it go on for way too long. So I think humor and just saying drop it, and having the strength of mind to not allow my mind to go there.